Hello, welcome to our Tuesday morning inspiration. Our word for today will come from Luke chapter 9, verses 10 to 17. When the apostles returned, they reported to Jesus what they had done. Then he took them with him, and they withdrew by themselves to a town called Bethsaida. But the crowds learned about it and followed him. He welcomed them and spoke to them about the kingdom of God and healed those who needed healing. Late in the afternoon, the 12 came to him and said, "Send the crowd away so they can go to the surrounding villages and countryside and find food and lodging, because we are in a remote place here." He replied, "You give them something to eat." They answered, "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, unless we go and buy food for all this crowd." About 5,000 men were there. But he said to his disciples, "Have them sit down in groups of about 50 each." The disciple did so, and everyone sat down. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 breads and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke them. And he gave them to the disciple to distribute to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciple picked up 12 basketful of broken pieces that were left over. Yan po again sa Luke chapter 9 verse 10 to 17. And another source of our Bible inspiration today is coming from 2 Thessalonians 3:10. And it says, "For even we were with you, we gave you this command: anyone unwilling to work should not eat." Sa 2 Thessalonians po yan, uh, chapter 3, verse 10. And another one from Proverbs chapter 6, verse, verses 10 to 12. "Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with the froward mouth." So these are the Bible inspiration natin this morning. So again, in the early morning, one of the major concerns natin is the food that we have to put in the table. Ano po? Yun po. So that is first and foremost concern natin sa umaga, especially if there are no food at all, or there was no money to buy food and to be put on the table. Especially with the large family, ano po, napakahirap pong mag-produce if ng mga pagkain sa hapagkainan for the whole day, at least 3 square meals a day, kung wala po tayong pagkukuhanan ng ating ibibili ng pagkain. Ano po. Meron po tayong dalawang senaryo na based sa ating mga binasa. Yun pong sa una, yun pong the miracle of feeding the 5,000 people during the time of Jesus' ministry together with these apostles. No po. Ito pa ay isang scenario wherein a lot of people were following Jesus, no po, because they wanted to hear the words of the Lord through Jesus. And it became accustomed to the fact that whenever Jesus goes, a lot of people are following them. Some only to listen to his words of wisdom and knowledge, but a lot also were following him to be healed of different disease. No po? Because they were able to hear the news that Jesus is healing a lot of sicknesses during those times. So whenever Jesus goes, a throng, a group of people always following him. And on this scenario, they were in a remote area. Ah, parang parang nasa ano po sila sa isang lugar na walang mabibila ng pagkain at wala ding mga inn na, po, na pwedeng pagpahingahan. They were in a very remote area. So it becomes a main concern ng 12 apostle during that time, at that moment, and he approached Jesus about the situation. They were telling Jesus that uh, we instruct all these people to go to some other areas, nearby areas, so that they can buy food and at least take rest in an inn. No po? But Jesus told them that no, they will stay. We gave them food to eat because mga alas 12 na po yun ng tanghali. So meaning to say, it's lunch time. Kaya po, sabi ni Jesus, we have to feed them. Ang sabi na po ng mga apostle ay, we have only 5 loaves and 2 fish. Ano po? 2 fish. 5 tinapay lamang po at 2 isda. But in this scenario, there was no choice for the Lord to do but to create a miracle out of the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. So, pinakuha niya po yung 5 tinapay at saka yung 2 pirasong isda at tinaas niya po at nag-pray po siya. At pagkatapos po niyang ipag-pray yun, ay sinabi niya sa mga apostoles na paupuin ang lahat ng tao, tig 50, batch by batch, 50-50. Tapos distribute the food. So, ang nangyari po, there was a miracle that have taken place because nakakain na po ang lahat ng mga sumunod at followers ni Jesus. At the end of serving the food, ano po, sa pamamagitan lamang ng 5 tinapay at 2 isda, all the people were satisfied. All the people are filled with in their stomach, and they were satisfied because nakakain na po sila. And after that, meron pong natirang 12 basket full of broken pieces, leftovers ng tinapay at saka ng fish po. So, the point of this subject matter is that the feeding of the 5,000 is needs a certain miracle from the Lord. The Lord was pushed to make this extra way of feeding the 5,000 because they were in a remote area. Wala pong mabilan at wala pong inn na matutuluyan ng mga tao upang makapagpahinga. Kaya po, Jesus created these supplies of feeding the 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Sa ating pong buhay, of course, we were told to come to Jesus who is our great provider. And He will provide for us. But it doesn't always happen na katulad po ng senaryo natin na nag-feed po siya ng 5,000 ano po, men and women, older, sick, and every kind of individual na nandun po, feeding the 5,000. 5,000 po yung total. Iba po itong scenario na to wherein na-push po ang ating Panginoon to create a miracle out of the 5 loaves and 2 pieces so that they could feed, the apostle could feed all the 5,000. This is an extraordinary superpower provisions na ginawa ng ating Panginoong Heso Kristo. uh, a certain kind of miracles na kailangan po talagang gawin dahil walang source na pwede na mapuntahan ng mga tao. So this is what we call a supernatural miracle, a supernatural situation, an extraordinary situation wherein talagang walang magagawa ang mga tao at wala ding nagawa si Jesus but to create a certain big miracle of providing food for the 5,000. At nangyari naman po ito. But in the natural, in the reality of our lives, po, hindi po kadalasang nangyayari na basta may lalabas na lang o mag-a-appear na katulad nangyari, merong 5 loaves at saka 2 fishes. Para it's a supernatural act of power of God. Pero sa atin po, sa ating araw-araw na pamumuhay, kahit po yan ang isa sa mga biggest concern natin daily, to put food on the table, hindi po nangyayari itong ganitong klaseng miracle ng Panginoon. So what are we talking about? We're talking about yung ating pong other biblical verses na binasa. Sabi po sa 2 Thessalonians, "For even when we were with you, we gave you this command, anyone unwilling to work should not eat." So dito naman po sa ordinary lives natin, sinabi ko nga po, it was an extraordinary situation that pushed Jesus to create a miracle out of the 5,000 people to eat with just 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Kasi po walang pupuntahan, walang mabibiling pagkain. Kaya po God created that big miracle. Pero in our everyday life, it doesn't happen na bigla na lang magkakaroon ng anuman dyan. In our present life, katulad po ng sinabi natin sa 2 Thessalonians, ang sabi po, anyone unwilling to work should not eat. So, iba po itong sinabi nito. So, yung natural situation po natin, ang sinasabi, makakapag-pray tayo sa ating Panginoon ng ating mga pangangailangan. But there is again an action for us to do to provide food on the table. Hindi po mangyayari na magkakaroon na lang bigla ng pagkain dyan. Yung the natural law po is that you have to work so that you have food. Sabi po dito, anyone unwilling to work should not eat. Medyo matigas po yung salita. So, sa pagkasalukuyang panahon, pagka nagdalangin po tayo sa ating Panginoon ng lahat ng ating pangangailangan, especially the food, na major needs po natin yan ng ating buong pamilya. Ang sabi po, we have to work. So, there is an action